Okay, so this is going to be way easier for me to explain to you if I record it so you can physically see me do it than me just trying to like type it out. And Blue Sky gives me 3 minutes of video, so that's why this is going to get uploaded to YouTube instead of Blue Sky, so I can just post a link. Okay. I have established a base color. I have established line art and base color. So people can tell you to pull it down, etc., so forth. It works. Everybody's got their way of doing it. That's not how I do it. I do it with some of my characters. I don't do it with some of characters. So there's a couple ways you can do this. Firstly, to further explain, also, preface, I am an Autodesk sketchbook. But pre-explaining, it's too big. This is tint. This is your tint, this is your hue, this is your shade, this is your tone. Hue is the purest form of the color. So when I drag it up all the way over here, that is the hue. All the way over is the hue. It's the purest form of that color, unedited at all. That's why when I bring it up here, it goes to white, because tinting is adding white. Shading is adding black. Toning is adding gray. Your tint, tone, shade, hue. So there's multiple ways you could do this. You could bring it down and pick a darker shade and shade that way if you wanted to. And that would be like this. Also, I don't know if you do this on Procreate or not, but I do. Once you get your base color down, you lock that layer, so then I can't color outside of it. So you could pick a shade color and do it this way if you wanted to. Sometimes this is how I do it. It's not always how I do it. It depends on the character's hair color. Because sometimes other things look better. The thing to remember when you shade is when you're rendering out hair, you need to remember that hair has gravity. So that means all of the shading is going to go down. That's your part line. Everything is going to go down because hair has gravity. So your thicker shading is going to be towards the bottom because that section of the hair carries more weight. The other thing to remember is that visually, black is the heaviest visual color. That's why things look heavy when they're in black line. That's why eyes will pop more when the outside detailing of the eyes, when the line art is black, because black is visually heavy to the human eye. When we look at it, it looks heavy. So you could shade in that color, and you would also have to pick your light source. So like there, here. So visually, you have to pick your light source. So light is hitting her like that. That's your light source. So then I would shade in that direction. That means the back side of this would be what gets shaded. My thing that I also do sometimes when I shade in like cell shading anime style is at the bottom of hair, I will do something like this, because it gives the illusion that there are multiple strands there without me having to break up. Just like if I did it right here. It gives the illusion that there's multiple strands there without me having to break that section up. So then it becomes like there's a full fat strand there. The other way you could shade it is you could make a layer above it. I have clipping masks on mine. It's this little button right here that's a clipping mask. And that makes it so that the clipping mask makes it so that whatever layer is below it is the only thing it will color on. So, like, if I work in another color, the clipping mask is on, it'll only let me color on her hair. But since it's a different layer, it's not destroying anything that's under it. It's just clipping to the layer that's below it. That's how clipping mask works. So, come on. What you could do with a clipping mask, and I put it in green on purpose, is sometimes what I'll do to get colors to pop is I'll use its complement, its complement colors. So like red's complement is green, so pink's complement is a lighter green. In fact, this green, its complementary color is right here. So this pink, its complementary color is right here. And my program will let me just click it and it'll go right straight to it. But I don't want something that light. I want something darker on purpose because we're shading. So you can go to a darker green, and to get your colors to pop, you can use a clipping mask. I know this looks insane. Trust me. And you can shade in the complementary color. This would go like this. And break it. You'd shade in the complementary color, then you put it on a multiply layer and knock that opacity down. And now it's still in the general same area, but it'll make colors pop. For me, I probably see, and if you lock the clipping mask, it means you can sit there and you can like change the color around all you want until you find it in the shade that you want. And then you can also mess with the opacity of that clipping mask until you get it where you want it. But since it's a clipping mask, it's only going to shade where you tell it. Now, how I do shading too is with this, we'll do it on this side. If you want it to look a little less anime and a little more real, is I'll take my smudging brush and I'll come in and I'll smudge all that stuff down. And then sometimes, I want that big. Sometimes I'll literally just make a line, and then when you smudge it out, it becomes more like a strand. Also, the other thing that I'll do that I can't promise your program can do. Mine has a layer mode, blending modes called glow. I think yours would be add. Is if you come in with a glow layer on in the same tone that is her hair, it's gonna turn white. See? Because it's on a glow. I think yours is add. Do I have an add? Yeah, I have an add. So your add would look like that. So then, when you take that same smudge brush and brush it out, now you have like a reflective glow. See, glow makes it look like that. Now you have a reflective glow that makes it bright. And then since it's again on its own layer, you can turn that opacity down until you get it where you want it. And now there's a bright shiny spot in her hair that you have full control over. And the thing too, when doing hair, is to remember to follow the flow of it. And I said pick your lighting because you're going to have to remember what's not facing the light. You also have to like remember it's okay to go dark. That like it's okay to shade in darker colors. Now, the other thing too that you can do, that again, it's a personal preference. See in here, since your hair's in a ponytail, I would put in lines that pull it back to the ponytail. And even then you could use that. And you can smudge it out. And down here too, like it looks choppy, but you could smudge it out and it doesn't look so choppy anymore. And the thing too, why I brought up black being heavy, is that the darker you go, the heavier it's going to feel. So like if you want this spot that's tucked behind and it's under her chin, it's by her shoulder, it's tucked behind, people aren't going to see as much of it, so it's not going to get to that much light. See, and then you can still come in and, oh, I locked it. You can come in and put a glow back there on your glow layer and smudge it out. And now she's got a glow going on in the back of her hair. But the reason I brought up black being heavy is because the other thing you can do is go a little bit darker than your shade color, because this is the thing I personally do, but again, it's personal preference, is then go through and change your hair and change the line art color so it's not black anymore, and you can see how much that changed it. And then you could even go through and pick the main hair color. Where is it? It says it's here. I lost it. My stuff's all over the place. There it is. And you could make it lighter, so then the parts on the line art where the light is hitting it make that lighter. So then that would be lighter, that would be lighter, oh, that would be lighter, that would be lighter. So then the places where the light is hitting your line art are lighter, and the places where the shade is hitting your line art are darker. And it gives it that different effect. So that's ways that you can render hair. That's how I render hair. You can also render hair in multiple layers. That you can go a little bit darker, and back there would be darker because it's hitting less light. Because this is casting a shadow on this, this is casting a shadow on this, this is casting a shadow on this, this is going to cast a shadow on this. Her chin is going to cast a shadow right here. The light hits it here. All of that would be in all of this would be in shadow. This is getting multiple shadows on it because her face is casting a shadow here. So like all of this is facing away from the light. And then the ponytail, this is gonna get shadow from the back of the head. This would be in light, and then this is gonna be in shadow. That's why I said you gotta pick your light source. Because it would end up like, also don't be afraid to like shade something chunky. Like this, like what I mean. You just pick a giant part of it and shade it. And then that would all be in shade. That would be in shade. And then down at the bottom of her ponytail, do that thing again where you bring that out, and that gives it that illusion. But there's multiple strands there, and you can make that illusion even more, even though you went chunky. You can make that illusion even deeper as you just go in a darker color, and the darker you go, the heavier that section is going to feel. So it's going to give that illusion of her hair containing weight and her hair being affected by gravity. So you can do that, and ta-da, and you can leave it like that, or you can blur it out or smudge it out. Sometimes you can even just use the blur tool if you don't want it to be quite so want your edges to be quite so hard. Yeah, you can just come over there and blur it out. So that's a mini summary of how I render hair. I know it's very long. I hope that helped.